What's up, bitches? Welcome to Manscape. Today's episode is brought to you by Gregory's Num Nums. They have gluten-free, cholesterol-free, and sugar-free treats. And today, my guest is young Jacob. Him and I have been working at the Sprint store for about 6 months or so. He's a good dude. And we're just going to talk some shit and see if we can unravel some pretty awesome topics. What's up, Jakey?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. How are you digging working in the whole retail life? I know that's not really your objective.
Yeah, it's definitely not where I want to be, or where I want to end up, I should say, at least. I don't mind working at the job right now. It is bullshit at some times, though.
Yeah.
That's fair to say.
For sure.
Yeah.
At least you have like a plan B. You have a way out.
Yeah. Well, it's actually a plan A. Sprint right now is my plan B until I finish.
Yeah. Oh.
If I'm being honest.
That's always bad. Retail definitely sucks, man. People have like no respect for human life when you're there, and it kind of makes me sick how much they enjoy their phones. Like back with flip phones, I feel like it was a totally different game. Now people like lose their shit if there's something wrong with their smartphone.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing is that you get people who are just so dependent upon them. They can't imagine their life without it at the moment. And I get that there's some people who really need it. Like, I sympathize with some of like the old ladies who come in and are like, my husband is sick, and if I can't get a hold of him, he could die. I'm like, well, that I get. But, you know, the kind of like the parents who I just feel like they need access to their kids at all times and stuff like that. It's just bullshit, you know? They don't really need it as bad as they think they do.
There's ways to make sure old men didn't die before smartphones came around.
Yeah.
So it's called Life Alert, bitch.
Yeah. That's fair, yeah. I mean, I think just it comes with being retail, just dealing with people. Because today I had to go pay off some money to Time Warner Cable, which is now just recently rebranded to Spectrum today. Today was the official thing, yeah. I walked in the store and that was like the big deal. They were like handing out free water bottles and... By the way, they were handing out free water bottles and sunglasses today. Dead of winter, they're handing out sunglasses, which I thought was pretty goddamn.
Wow, Spectrum, way to fucking make a first impression.
Yeah, for real. Just totally incompetent. Handing out old Halloween candy, glasses, and bottles of water.
Fucking Werther's Original.
And so I went in there to pay money, and like the place was just packed. And it's not a big building. Like the lobby's pretty small. It can't be like 10 by 10 feet. Like it's not very big.
It's off of Cherry over there, right?
Yeah, and our Sprint store is way bigger, like 2-3 times that size in terms of like their lobby. And I went in there and some old lady was just, you know, swearing up a storm because she didn't want any sports channels, but it was the only package they had for her, or something like that.
It just came included?
Yeah. Fuck
her.
And she's like, I don't want this.
Psychotic.
And she's like, and the channels I do watch are all reruns. And they're like, literally, we can't control that. Like, we can provide you the channel, but we don't tell them what to put on the channel.
Oh,
and she's like, I don't understand why I pay for this service. And I'm like, I can't handle it.
You don't have to. We have Netflix, Hulu. You can literally buy Matlock on DVD.
And she's like, every time it goes to the next thing, it's a rerun. And the lady's like, well, you know, there's like a TV guide that can show you what's going to be next. So, you know, you can be warned about whether or not there's going to be a rerun. She's like, I can't handle this. And she's like, walked out.
Fucking insane.
Oh, my God.
That's like my number one pet peeve when people take corporate issues out on the dude behind the desk. Like, even I've seen you deal with this before. Literally a guy will come in who'll like curse my name. Like, you're such a fucking piece of shit, you fat motherfucker. And then after he calms down, he's like, I know it's not your fault. Like, the whole time he's just aggressively berating me. And then he's like, it's not your fault, you fucking faggot. It's not your fault.
Oh my God, yeah. No, it's intense. People really lose it. It's something, I don't know. I mean, I get that people are spending their money and that they deserve a good product and stuff, but
I mean, there comes a time and a place. Like,
yeah, when you just don't have to be an asshole all the time, you know?
Yeah.
And you got to understand that the people that are working, that the people at Sprint or any given place, a retail place, they're just normal people. And,
absolutely.
It's not their objective in the day to fuck you over. Like, it's
care.
honestly not.
Yeah,
we don't care enough about them in order to fuck you over, honestly.
No shit, man. I've had problems with myself. I mean, I think I spend too much time on my smartphone, which kind of brings me, I think, this evolution of our technology since we were children. Like, every now and then, watching TV, DVD, all that shit. But now it's like every single thing is reliant on some sort of technology that we have. We can't do shit without. I can't. the other day, I was going to buy a Brita water filter, and I did like 10 hours of research on one thing just because I have the research.
Yeah, you can, so you do. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's definitely the case that like we're using, like the evolution of technology, like you mentioned, is just absurd. How far it's come. I mean, you can't even walk into like doors anymore. Doors open for you everywhere you go. It's kind of crazy to think that you could just be tracked just because like those doors at Walmart have like a tick tracker every time they open up.
Yeah.
And it's all being tracked, and it's.
Does it kind of bug you when it doesn't open?
It freaks me the fuck out. Yeah.
I went to the bathroom the other day and like they didn't have automatic hand dryers, and I'm like, wow, what kind of fucking establishment is this?
I think it's a sign that the times are coming to an end when people don't just automatically reach to flush at the urinal, and like even when there's a urinal has a handle and it's very clearly not an automatic flush, they still just walk away without doing anything.
Oh,
it happens all the time, and I see it happening, and I look over it. It's just, I don't know, that irritates me probably more than almost anything else, is watching people
leave a steaming pile of shit because they think the future's gonna hide it for them.
Yeah, that's
Jesus,
wonderful.
Dude. I don't know. I think that's kind of why I'm a big proprietor. Is that a good word? Like believer?
Proprietor would be like
seller.
You're an owner. Yeah.
Okay, I'm the proprietor of the simulation theory.
I guess.
No, but I strongly believe in the simulation theory, just because since you and I have been alive, if we are, we had Pong when our parents were children or whatever, and then we had PlayStation 1. And when Xbox 360 came around, I remember like telling everybody like, how the fuck does it get better than this? This is the apex of graphics. Like, it can't get any better. It's gotten better. I played with the HTC Vive. It's like, I can see that becoming indistinguishable from existence, like life. And that's just 30 years of evolution. It's insane.
It is absolutely crazy. I mean, I think you could even do a more wild comparison if you took it just, a few years further back. And I say a few, I mean like, you take it back to Henry Ford invents the car in like 1915 or 1914 up until now. I mean, literally at 1900, people are using horses to get around everywhere. And in 100 years, right? So you think about it from, I don't know how long.
That's one lifespan.
Right, yeah. And I mean, I don't know how long you want to consider like humanities have been alive for, but if we take like a classical look at evolution, like 40 to 50,000 years is where like civilization kind of is for humanity. And so for like 40 to 50,000 years, horses. Like that's a pretty common thing, is like people on horseback, people riding that. And then you hit 1900 and suddenly it's to the moon in 60 years.
Yeah, that's debatable. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But, I mean, most people wouldn't deny that technology is available, even if we haven't officially done it technically.
But if we don't have a reason to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just absurd to think that how fast everything moved. It's so crazy.
What's that saying? The mother of technology is necessity. We've come to a point where the mother of technology is convenience. Necessity is not even a problem anymore.
Oh yeah, you're totally right. Yeah.
Yeah, like we could have survived on horseback, and then we had cars. Now we're fucking flying. You can get to another country in a day, or not fucking. How long does it take to get to China from here?
Yeah, no, it would take probably. I mean, if you went, I guess we're in Ohio, so we're like kind of dead center across the exact opposite side of the world from them. Yeah. But I mean, you're thinking probably, today. You could get there today.
Yeah.
Japan's like 20 hours away, but yeah.
I find it fucking terrifying, but I also find it equally interesting that where is it going to be when we are 80? Because our grandparents were around in the heyday of the car, like when it first started, right?
Yeah, definitely.
When the car 1912? You said.
I think 1914 is when Henry Ford kind of put up the first Model T.
Yeah, and it didn't catch on until probably 20 years. Within that 20 years, everybody had a car.
Yeah, and I should quote. That's probably inaccurate, but it's right around that area. So I'm sure some
it's better than what I said. I was going to say like 1300s. That's when Henry Ford was right.
That was when the wheel was made, right? I'm pretty sure the car was right after that. Yeah.
It was like instantaneously. Well, we got to figure out something for this. I don't know. I just can't imagine where it goes from here. But I'm really hoping. I think drones are badass. Now, could you imagine like your own personal spaceship or like your own personal helicopter? We're on the cusp of that. I feel.
I feel like we're close, but I still think that's still like car level. Because I mean, even in the future, I don't know. I like to watch like Star Wars, Star Trek, and stuff like that, and I find it hard to believe that a lot of people are going to be able, like even 1,000 years in the future, right? We're doing interstellar travel. It's like other.
You think we'll have it by then?
I'm just saying, like as a what if, you know. I still find it hard to believe that a lot of people are going to have the access to be able to like a spaceship. I feel like that's still going to be like jet plane thing, you know? Because I mean, like we've had access to flights for a long time now, like. 40, 50 years we've had like
very few own planes,
and almost nobody owns planes.
Yeah.
Like I mean, no one conveniently drives a plane around for their own leisure. To go to some place. Like they might drive it around, to crop dust or something like that, or they might drive it around because they're an aviation freak. But most people, 99% of people, don't own a plane or have the ability to drive it anywhere and just land it wherever they want to.
Right.
So I think that's still a pretty far-flung thing.
It's just not practical enough yet.
Yeah, you're right.
If our sky would be littered with planes,
and you need a runway everywhere you go. You need like a half-mile long runway for every plane to land, which is just ridiculous. I mean, I guess I don't know how long a runway small planes need, but
long enough.
Yeah,
more than a fucking cul-de-sac.
Yeah, exactly. More than just a regular car. Yeah, it's way more dangerous too. I mean, you think cars are dangerous? Like aviation's just fucking crazy.
Yeah,
all the things that can go wrong and.
Landing, all that shit.
I definitely wouldn't want like a 16 or 17-year-old getting their flying license and then...
You gotta be 30. Yeah. You can fight for your country at 18, you gotta be 30 to fly a plane. Nobody's gonna argue with that. They're like, yeah, I agree with that. I don't know. You've only messed with the Gear VR, haven't you?
Yeah, Gear VR is basically where my VR technology knowledge stops.
Dude. So I listened to a podcast. Who is it? Damn it. I listened to Duncan Trussell's podcast. He's a big stoner and he fucks around with acid and stuff, but he kept talking about virtual reality. He has an HTC Vive. He kept talking about how he would just go home and lose himself into it. And that was after I fucked with the VR and like, oh, that's cool. Like you can watch porn and virtual reality, all that shit. But when you put on the Vive, you literally like, it feels like you're in a different place. It's crazy. Nobody would really understand it until they try it, but that is where it's going. I feel like it's not a gimmick. It's not like the iToy.
I guess it just needs a killer app, really, is what it needs. It needs some experience that is going to push it to the point where, I mean, like any game system or any, I guess probably DVD player wouldn't be something similar, but any kind of game system has to have a killer app in order to sell. So, for instance, like the Xbox One had Halo. And that sold systems.
Still does.
Yeah.
Still does.
Yeah, I mean, Halo still pushes
That's
Xbox.
The only reason I have an Xbox.
Exactly.
Legit.
And, every system has to have its killer app that really pushes its sales. 3DS has its Pokemon,
Nintendo alone has their games and they won't.
Yeah, exactly. So, VR just has to get its killer app and then it'll be good to go. It just needs something that's going to push sales like crazy. Because, most common people like me, I build computers, like multiple computers I've built, and I operate kind of in the high-end market in terms of graphics cards and things like that, but even I find it hard to justify buying a VR system, just because the killer apps aren't there for it yet. There's gimmicky apps right now, like, Audio Shield's a pretty cool thing, but unless you plan on watching movies on like a mountaintop or using it to as like your virtual desktop somewhere, there's not a whole lot of functionality that it gives you, and for most people, I think, you can see the size of this room we're in right now. It's what, like an 8x7.
This would do, but not
just barely.
Yeah, this would just do it, and you'd have to get rid of everything.
Yeah, exactly. It would just be a computer. I don't even know if you could fit a desk in here, for it. It's just not practical for a lot of people. I think it could pick up. I think what it might do is revive the arcade scene, which I think would be really cool.
Badass.
Which is sweet. Yeah. That brings us back to the 80s instantly, and that's cool. Which I totally wasn't alive for, but.
Yeah, I love it.
Aesthetics though. That's
what I've heard about.
That's awesome. Yeah, from what I've heard about it. Yeah. I think that's probably what it'll do more than anything for most people.
So this is kind of right. I agree with you with how it's like gimmicky. Like every game, it's like demo mode right now. Right. Everything's so basic. Just because I imagine it takes a shit ton of programming to get. Oh, your hand moves here and this moves here. It's not just your eyes. It's like. Every part of you, they have to incorporate.
Well, yeah, and it's not even just your eyes. It's like the craziest thing I saw when I saw VR that kind of almost sold me on it immediately was some guy playing a first-person game, and instead of crouching to look under something, he just bent over. Like,
yes.
That was
that is where it's at.
That blew my mind to think that he could look under a table by just like turning around, and the camera flips over and everything, and he just looks under it. He doesn't have to crouch. Like that is such an immersion.
And that's what that's what everybody wants. Ultimately, they want to forget they're playing a game. That's why graphics keep getting better. I feel like we should have started this shit a long time ago. Like we had the fucking what were those things you put up to your eyes and you clicked it and it changed the picture?
Yeah,
that was VR right there. Why don't we just take running with that?
I think Nintendo tried it with their Virtual Boy, but it died.
Changed?
Yeah, it wasn't quality. It gave people headaches because they didn't have it right. It made people sick. They tried it once. It was an utter failure. The graphics, the quality of like hardware wasn't there for them, and I think everybody got scared of it then.
They weren't ready for it?
No one was ready for it, apparently. The technology wasn't there. And it took the Oculus Rift really starting to push that Kickstarter around and to get into people's heads that the technology was available. And then, Valve pushed the HTC Vive.
And Valve.
And PS4, I think, is where it's probably going to go, honestly. That's where the most of the users are going to be.
For now. But yeah. There's a couple things about the PS4 that a lot of people are worried about, just because when you're fucking around in the Vive, your hands move, your body moves. When you're PS4, you're pretty stationary, but it's still going to give you an amazing experience. Just because if you play a shooter like Titanfall or Call of Duty or whatever the hell you're playing, if you play that with a headset on, you're going to get lost in that for hours, man. Like it's just going to be totally.
I don't know. I kind of wish. I don't think games like Titanfall are going to be where VR goes. I think that'd
be so cool, though.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you do something like that, because the biggest problem with VR at the moment is that you can't move around in real life like you do in Titanfall. And if you're swinging your head around that fast, but your feet aren't actually moving, it induces motion sickness in a lot of people. It's a really big problem, and so a lot of games actually are on rails. Like literally, if you're going to be moving, they'll put you in a ship to move. Like that's why cockpit experiences like a Starfighter or like Perfect, like the Battlefront VR experience for Sony is like.
You seen that?
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet.
Star Wars?
It puts you in like an X-wing. In space battles.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
so like those kind of experiences
where it moves with you.
Yeah, so it's not you actually having to do physical work, and that's not that doesn't set off that sickness in your brain that like first person games do, or why any game that has you moving around right now doesn't actually have you walking.
It's all clicking.
Yeah, you use a
wand.
Use a wand to point where you want to go, and you
Which
teleport
is
there.
Kind of a pain in the ass.
It is a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it kind of gets around people throwing up apparently. So.
But if they do make the technology where it's just like a giant
holodeck, really is like what you need, like Star Trek holodeck, which is like this VR room where you just
they've already figured that out. So your VR headset, the Vive, they're going to put a battery in it, and then they're going to put a Vive. Essentially, they put 4 cubes in your bedroom or wherever the fuck you want to play, and it maps out the room. And when you get too close to a wall, it tells you like, dude, you're about to smash your face on this wall. Thank God they did that, but. You can just keep moving those cubes farther and farther out. So what they're doing right now is a football field, and they have 4 cubes on each corner of the football field, and you just go around with a gun and fight creatures inside of the world. Could you imagine that?
That'd be super cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
That'd be more fun than a theme park.
But then again, I mean that brings us back to the fact that it's going to be like an arcade, and it's not going to be like a home user experience. The home user experience is going to be really
just PSVR.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's probably where it's going to be. The majority of people are going to be using the PSVR because it's more affordable. It's $400. It's half the price of the HTC Vive, and the machine you have to run it is probably about half the price. So absolutely. I mean, if you want to run the HTC Vive, well, you need basically
$1,000,
an $800 to $900 machine, like at least. That's what you need. And then the HTC Vive itself and all of its accessories are another $800. So you're looking at, bare minimum $1,600 if you want to do it, and if you want to do it well, probably around $2,000.
Yeah.
And you can get into the PSVR for $800. $400 for the PlayStation and then $400 for the VR headset.
If the games were there, dude, I would go out and buy it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Not with cash. I'm not a baller. I got a credit card to GameStop, but I would totally say, fuck it, do it. But it's just, I don't know where the PSVR is right now as for games. It looks very rudimentary. It's cool that they're going that way.
The only good thing about the PSVR right now is that Sony's very hands-on with development of games right now. So they're not letting shitty games get pushed through. All their games are running at like 120 frames per second. They're making sure
they're looking dope.
Yeah,
because they do not want to lose this race.
Yeah.
Everybody's on board. They we know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
If Valve is on board, I think that's a good precursor to
what's coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, Valve doesn't make too many mistakes. Steam Machine being like the only thing they really fucked up on. But
I wanted that to work. I was psyched for that.
Yeah,
me and my roommates were like,
and the first one they made is still sitting in a Walmart somewhere, not being sold. You know,
that sucks.
Steam Machines didn't go because Windows PCs are just better. But
yeah, but a Steam machine, can it just not run what your PC can? Because for average male white guy that makes under $60,000, I thought, ooh, I'll buy this half of a computer and play with my computer friends.
No, the bad thing about the Steam Machine is not its hardware. I mean, it's not as powerful as like a computer you can build, obviously. But I mean, there are stepped up versions of it. The bad thing about the Steam Machine is that it runs Linux operating system.
Oh shit! So,
yeah, that's the thing that sucks about it. So there's like no games for it. Valve made we'll port TF2 and Counter-Strike over to it, and people were like, well, fuck that. Those are 10-year-old games. I don't think I really want to
They didn't
play
have
them.
anything current?
Not much. I mean, there's a little bit, but there's not enough games running on Linux OS to make Steam Machines a viable console.
That would have pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because I was down to purchase that system.
I mean, you could probably dual boot it, but it's really just not worth it.
Well, you might as well just buy a
Windows
computer and Steam is typically compatible. I gotta take my hearing aid out. It's busted on me. But Steam is typically compatible with controller too, right? Like most of the games, you can actually pair a PS4 controller.
Yeah, and that's what I have right now. You can see I have a PS4 controller plugged in at the moment.
Is that what you play with?
Yeah. I mean, you can see my mouse. It even controls my mouse. So.
Oh, that's sweet.
You can use the touchpad to do it. I mean, it's awesome.
That's awesome. What do you play that for? Do you play it on all your computer games?
No, I'm a keyboard and mouse mostly. I use that for some third-person action, like Dark Souls. I'm not a big fan of how the controls work on keyboard and mouse. I know some
people said they hate how Skyrim worked.
On keyboard and mouse?
Was that? No, not keyboard and mouse. Controller.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely a lot of mods for Skyrim for its UI because people hated how it worked out.
Which is crazy because it's like top-tier gaming right now.
Apparently, yeah. But,
yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's crazy. I had this silly idea, with the internet, back then, if you and your friend argued about the age of a celebrity or something, or a height or something, it would create a feud between the two of you until one of you got to the library or one of you forgot. And now it's just any issue that you have, click of a button. Okay, Google.
Yeah, I know. The funny thing is, I think a lot of people don't realize that, which is weird. Because, for instance, my wife Donna, she actually gets annoyed with me when we're having an argument, and I go to Google to search something else.
No,
it's like she wants to have the argument.
I want to go old fashioned with this bitch.
She's like, take the gloves off, you asshole. She doesn't want us to go and actually just look up the answer. I'm like, you don't have to argue about it. I'll just figure it out. Google has all the answers, and she's like, put that down. She wants to have the old school debate.
One of us is going to figure it out. Yeah. One of us is going to win, and that's going to be me. I don't know, man. I think the internet is insanely vast. Back in the day, if I ever had a silly question, I'd ask Jeeves. Now, anything you can possibly... You remember Ask Jeeves?
I remember Ask Jeeves.
Dude, he was a father figure to me. I didn't have a dad. I asked him about everything. First boner, Jeeves, what the fuck is this?
Jeeves, why'd you leave?
Where the fuck is Jeeves? But I think if an extraterrestrial life force found our internet, we'd be fucked. We essentially, we have the Tesseract and Transformers. I don't know what brought that to my mind. I fucking hate those movies. But, it's like a cube of life.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what our internet is. So, if somebody wanted to invade Earth, they could just take Google. Any thought that they could have about mankind, they could just Google it.
Yeah, I mean, given they could translate and speak our language, yeah, man, the internet is just
it's
all human knowledge just sitting in a vault.
Yeah.
I mean, not a physical vault, obviously.
Is there?
There's hard drive somewhere, but yeah.
What if extraterrestrial life created the internet for us so they could study us and nobody fucking told us? They just here's the internet. Pay $40 a month and you can use it. And then we just uploaded everything we are to it. We're like...
Yeah, I think probably more of a military thing.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Not so much extraterrestrial.
Yeah. I mean, I
That's
think
like a super high or a shower thought right there.
yeah, definitely. I think
I was stoned in the shower.
the thing that terrifies me most about the internet is, like the idea of like what Facebook and everything can do. Like, how much is Ask still a real thing? It is still a real thing. No Jeeves though.
No Jeeves. It's just
yeah,
Ask.
just have to Google search
God
him.
damn it.
But I think I made a Facebook post not too long ago that I think something I said along the lines was I think Facebook has turned us into an opt-in surveillance state, and George Orwell is doing, I think Olympic flips in his grave. I think George Orwell, when he wrote like the book 1984, about like a surveillance state that watches everything you do, I think he imagined it as being like the government takes over.
We let it happen.
Yeah,
we beg for it.
We're like, that sounds really cool. You want to videotape me all the time? Yes. Like, yeah, I need that. Like, I'll just carry a microphone and a camera in my pocket all the time.
Oh my god.
Because that's a necessity for me. Like, I want to be recorded, right? Like,
that kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the cell phone. If your cell phone breaks, how the fuck's the government gonna keep an eye on that? Like, how am I supposed to tell my friends I'm taking a shit?
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out.
I need my GPS location on at all times, so someone knows where I am.
Absolutely.
I need to fucking LinkedIn and everything.
It's getting insane now.
With your life.
You and I were talking about this. So if you leave Facebook open, and I don't know if this is bullshit or not, I haven't tried it yet, but if you essentially leave your Facebook open and you talk about shit you like say you and I typically talk about like dildos, and I just go in depth about my favorite type of dildos, and I check my Facebook, boom. Like, in theory, it's personalized. Everything's so personalized. If you search the internet for anything, throughout the day you're going to see it just spew.
Yeah, well, there was a really big controversy actually that came up, like, I don't know, is it maybe something like 10 years ago when Google first started doing its Gmail. They put in a bot, and what it does is it scans your emails for words. Every email you get, personal email, anything, it scans all of them. And so that's why when you read an email and your best friend's like, hey dude, I got these really cool pair of jeans, they're really nice, and then you'll see an ad pop up on the right that's like, jeans on sale at Amazon, and you're like, is Google reading my emails? And Google didn't tell anyone at first what it was doing. But it's like, well, we want to know what people like and what they talk about. And like,
we don't want that, Google.
We're not sharing this information with anybody. And like, I think one of the leaders of Google, I forget his name, they're like, really,
Kevin.
Yeah, probably not. But
Jeeves, that's where Jeeves is, dude. He went for Google.
One of the creators of Google, he is like explaining it to someone, like to a judge, and he's like, basically what it is it's like a robot walks into your home, does an inventory of everything that's in there, and then just leaves and self-destructs. And the judge, he thought that was like really comforting. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. And the judge was like, this is horrifying,
Yeah.
But it's where we're at, I think, I don't know, it's pretty cool, but it's also
like it. I do like it. I mean, it's sweet seeing advertisements catered to me, except for if I'm on a porn site and I see an advertisement catered to me, I'm like, wow, I'm a fucking disgusting person.
I think Futurama got it right, where there's like, he goes to sleep and he's having, they put like a microchip in his brain. They're sending, advertisements in his dreams. Yeah. That's probably where it's going to be.
That's what the show Black Mirror, it kind of, have you heard of Black Mirror?
I haven't, actually.
Oh, so it's a Netflix show, and it's kind of like Tales from the Crypt, but it's all modern. So it's way more terrifying. Like, the day I bought the Amazon Echo, I watched an episode of Black Mirror.
The worst life choice you've ever done.
Yeah, it was silly. It was like, it told me why buying a home assistant's terrifying. And essentially, it's like they put actual people inside of it, and I'm like, God damn it. Alexa, I will set you free, baby.
I really want to watch the movie Her. I feel like I should have seen it by now. Did you ever watch it?
It was one of those artsy-fartsy films. If you want to see a good robot, artificial intelligence movie, Ex Machina.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, man. I love, like, sci-fi, like, modern sci-fi movies. Ex Machina was amazing.
Those hot robots are cool.
Hot robots?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
into
know.
it, I'll be honest.
I would have macked on her for sure. Interstellar was the tits, too. I like that. I'm a big Matthew McConaughey boy.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many times I've told you or not, but I'm not gay. But if I were, Matthew McConaughey is the kind of guy I'd go after. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to be gay. Matthew McConaughey McConaughey can put it in me at any time.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have sex with him just because I'm not into that, but I think I would just spend all of my time with him, watch television with him. He's a cool dude.
Smell his sweaty armpits.
Yeah, he doesn't wear deodorant. I'm cool with that. I have no problems with that. Have you seen Interstellar?
I haven't. Actually.
So
I feel guilty.
The whole point of the movie is relativity, the theory of relativity. And I got so big into relativity after I saw Interstellar. Like, if you would have told, like, young Cory that he's going to be into relativity for about 3 weeks, he's going to be like, that's fucking stupid. That's a waste of time, dude. But I did. I, like, studied it. I watched hours and hours of shit on relativity, and it's so hard to understand.
I don't get it.
And I have no idea what it is. Like, it's fucking insane. And the movie, the whole point is, like, time, and it felt like I was in the movie theater his entire duration of his life in that movie. It was a giant movie. But I guess, how the fuck did Einstein figure out relativity? Like, it's a theory, and it's obviously not proven, but what the fuck? How the...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I haven't read enough of Einstein to know exactly how he went and figured it out, but...
I can answer that.
He's a smart fucking guy.
Yeah. He's like a grocery bagger, and now he's Einstein. But
I wish my life could do that. I wish I could just be something and then suddenly be something else. I feel like there's a lot of details in the middle of that story you told that.
No, that's it.
That's it.
He was bagging groceries. He's like, God damn, I feel fucking smart. Time should move slower the closer you are to a larger planet. Einstein.
He's like, I'm going to help the Americans win the Second World War.
Yeah. That's why when I fuck up right now, I'm not too upset about it, because my end story is going to be so cool. They're like, yeah, Cory, he worked at Sprint. He was
the lower you are at the beginning, the more immaculate
it's going to look super cool when I make it.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible.
Cory had a fetish for fat chicks eating food all the time, naked. You know, that old chestnut. Do you think we're gonna figure out travel to other planets, Jakey? And if we do you think there's life out there, my friend?
Man, it's a hard question. I mean, I think it's inevitable that we're gonna get to other planets, provided we don't murder ourselves first, which is always what we're on the trail right there. Yeah, we are right about there. It's about time for another extinction event, I think. The Trumposaurus Rex is going to come through and kill us all. But I don't know. I think if we survive long enough, I think it just seems inevitable that we're going to get to travel to other planets, or at least other solar systems, and see what's out there. As for aliens existing, man, I don't know. I want to think so. Part of me does.
I don't fucking care.
And I say that as a person who's a Christian, who the Bible mentions almost nothing about alien life. The only way you could interpret alien life is there's like when Elijah gets picked up by angels, essentially, and people interpret that as people like that guy on History Channel, the Ancient Aliens guy. He's like, well, there it is. Yeah, the guy with the fantastic hair. He's like, that's aliens right there. But
that's his shtick. He says that about everything.
Very few Christians are going to tell you that they believe that there's a potential for alien life, or the aliens do exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Catholic Church is ready for it, though. They have statements about what would happen
if
aliens came to Earth.
What is it?
I don't know. But they have a plan. They're
ready.
Is
it going to be like, we were wrong? Change, follow them.
The Jews were right.
Oh my God.
No, I don't think the Catholicism is just going to dismantle itself if they find the alien. I'm sure what they'll do is they'll rework the Bible a bit, which is terrifying. Yeah.
Yes.
It is terrifying, but I think what it also means, it's what every belief system does. And when I say belief system, I mean, science does it too. Upon new information, they change the old stuff. They go back and they have to change it. For a long time, science was pretty sure the Earth was flat. And, we beheaded a lot of people because of it. But when we found out, in fact, it was round, we had to go and revise a lot of things.
And we revived a lot of people.
Yeah, we put their heads back on and they didn't go back to life.
Yeah, it looks like we were wrong.
Yeah, it's another scientific discovery we found out.
The Earth is round and we can put your head back on. It'll be fine. That's why I think it's totally... I don't want to be offensive with religion shit, but I just think it's totally okay to revise science, because if we're wrong, we're wrong. But if a book written like a fucking whenever, what year was that?
Yeah, it's quite a while ago.
If we revise it now, like, aren't we just adding shit to something that's already exists?
Well, so what they will say, and I'll play devil's advocate for you here.
So you're not a Christian at all. You work for Satan.
I'll play Christ's advocate here. They'll say we misinterpreted God's revelation, is what they'll say. And they'll say we now have new information. God's not wrong. We were wrong in our understanding of his revelation to us. And so now we have to reinterpret the Bible. We have to reinterpret, any of the books associated with it. We have to reinterpret God's message, essentially.
Yeah, okay.
So you will very rarely have a Christian come out and say, God was wrong. We found something out. What they'll say is, we misunderstood what God was saying. They'll figure out in places where to maybe put aliens. Where aliens seem like they're coming through the pages. Like, okay, aliens, angels, that's where they were. That's it. I wouldn't think that that's actually what would happen. But you understand my point is that they'll find a way to reinterpret the Bible.
Do you think the movie City of Angels would take Nicolas Cage's character and make him an alien instead?
I don't think that.
I don't
think that question merits a response.
Do you think it had Nicolas Cage in it? I think any Nicolas Cage merits a response. No, that's good. That's kind of why I like Buddhism though, because they're so open about like we don't fucking know.
Well, that's the crazy thing about Buddhism is, depending on the type of Buddhism you go with, there's Mahayana Buddhism or Theravada Buddhism, but depending on the type you go with, you can be a Buddhist Christian, you can be a Buddhist Hindu, because Buddhism doesn't ask you to subscribe to any particular set of beliefs that are in and of themselves exclusive. Christianity has it said that there's one God, and that you have to believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior in order to make it into heaven. That's a pretty exclusive claim that no other religion is going to be able to tap into,
Yeah.
You can't be a Christian and a Muslim at the same time, because they have too many exclusive claims that conflict.
Well, Christianity says, like, how pissed God will be if you worship any other God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, Buddhism doesn't say anything like
Which
that.
is a little selfish, I might say.
I get it. I'd be pretty pissed off if, like, when I was making The Sims, my Sims characters, if they
started worshiping, like, the person playing beside you.
Yeah, you're like, what the especially if there really wasn't anyone playing.
They don't even hang out in your computer anymore. They just go to your girlfriend's. Like, God damn it. I created you.
Yeah, you sons of bitch. Buddhism doesn't have any really exclusive claims. For a lot of people, it's a lifestyle choice, which is pretty cool. And it seems like it's pretty healthy. But
I like Buddhism. I did some research on it. It's exhausting. I couldn't do it, but I actually like meditation too. I think meditating, there's a bunch of scientific research on meditation, but there's something about like monitoring your thought process. For me, I'm a very anxious dude. Sexy but anxious. That's what my album will be called. And my brain just takes ideas and starts running with them. Well, with meditation, you can see like where your brain starts to take that idea and starts running with it when you're breathing, and you can nip it in the bud. After I practiced for a month, I was like significantly less anxious, and I think they just seem like peaceful people, Buddhist.
Yeah, definitely. But that's, I don't know. I know you're not saying they're peaceful while others aren't.
No, I'm not dogging on Christianity.
Yeah.
I like to just shoot at all religions and see what a rebuttal to it is.
I think Buddhism it's pretty healthy, honestly. It seems like it's pretty good. I think there's a lot of disingenuous Buddhists who are people who just, they're really into yoga.
And they think like they found God.
I think what frustrates me about the Eastern religions as a philosophy major and as a biblical studies major, which makes me sound like a total pretentious prick.
I sound dope.
Yeah, I sound like an idiot.
Nah.
But what frustrates me about Buddhism and about Hinduism is that they don't follow like a traditional Western logic in the way that like Christianity does, or the way that science does even. Hinduism is totally okay saying the Christian God is real and the Muslim God is real and that Buddha is real. Hinduism's okay with that. Like, Hinduism can say that when Christians die, they go to Christian heaven. When Muslims die, they go to Muslim heaven. And everybody gets exactly what they want. And, it's like, but Christianity makes exclusive claims. Like Christianity says there's only one God, and Hinduism's like, yeah, well, they're right, sort of.
To them.
Yeah, to them, they're right. Whatever's right for them is right for them, and so it's like
that's very nice. That's comforting.
It's comforting, but it's kind of like a moral relativist point of view, is where whatever you're into is fine for you, whatever I'm into is fine for me. There's no truth about anything, and I find that hard to accept too. And Buddhism is similar in the way that they have a lot of they don't follow a traditional Western logic, I should say. They're really into contradicting themselves, and they're okay with that kind of contradiction.
I saw this list of what existence could possibly be. Like, how we were talking about the simulation theory. It's kind of transitioning from where you were just at. But, existence animated. He essentially shows, like, this dude took all the ideas of what existence could be and kind of summed them up. So, like, some people believe that it's just, like, infinite nothingness. And some people believe it's like everybody on Earth is in it, like in on it, like the Truman Show.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be fucking horrible. And then you just like everybody gets together and plans another surprise for a new baby. That would suck.
That would suck too. Yeah, definitely.
Let me see if I can find that.
I mean, I'm totally into the idea that everyone else can read minds, and that I'm just shouting out ideas in my head all the time, and I can't read anybody else's mind.
I think that's just part of like an ego, because I feel that too, which is very like bad for your brain. I feel.
Oh yeah, it's like, well, I was looking at this girl, and now she knows it, and she knows all the dirty thoughts I thought, and I'm a horrible human being.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god, this is awful.
All I said was she had a sweet ass, and now she thinks I'm an asshole. And god damn it.
And now I can't stop talking in my own head.
And now I can't let go of her ass. Oh, I can't find it. I'll look it up later and show you. We didn't really get to talk too much about extraterrestrial. We kind of jolted back into religion, but I think one of my favorite sayings, I think it might have been Carl Sagan, I'm not 100% sure, but somebody said either we have two options. Either there's extraterrestrial life forms or not, or we're alone on this planet. And he's like, either one is equally terrifying.
Yeah.
That's a good, like, I think it's smart.
That is pretty terrifying. I mean, I think it's put one way. If you watch a Vsauce video, he'll say it. But it was put by somebody that if the cosmic telephone rings, do you pick it up? And that's a way to phrase it, and how we.
That's a dope way to phrase it. That's metal as shit.
Yeah. So basically, if aliens send out a signal to us and they're like, "We're here," and we receive that, do we even respond?
I think it would be a bad idea to respond.
Right? Like, so that's kind of the idea, is like, shut up. And the idea is like, we don't know how they're going to operate. We're afraid of them in some sense. I think that's an interesting discussion, is about why we'd be so afraid of them. Why is it when most of the time we think about aliens, we think about them subjugating us?
Well, I'll tell you right now why. If we went to another planet and it had life on it, if you saw, like, for example, like a little kid, if you went to a daycare and you saw those little kids, they're aggressive as fuck. If I saw that on an extraterrestrial planet, I'd be like, we have to fucking kill these guys. Or if you saw like one of their biggest dudes at the gym just screaming, lifting up weights. If we saw that on another planet, I'd be like, we cannot coexist with these people. You have to fucking kill everything on that planet. We need their water, it makes sense why they would need to kill us. We look like assholes. We are assholes.
I mean, I think that's fair. It seems to me like there's something in our heads that we think aliens are going to be a particular way. Like, they're going to be just like us, is essentially. Like, they're going to be like us. Like, they're going to be like, conquistadors arriving in, Latin America for the first time, and spreading disease and murdering their way through everything. They're going to be like us, Europeans arriving in America and enslaving the Native Americans.
They took
take over everything.
Tracks,
yeah. And so I think we as humans have an idea of what we've seen it be like when a new person, an invader, a foreign invader comes in, and how they treat those who are less equipped. And I think we understand that if aliens come to us, we are woefully under-equipped to deal with them.
If they can figure out how to get here.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get here, the the vast disparity between their technology and our technology is already just apparent.
Pretty relevant.
Like, they already understand the moment they get here. We're like, fuck. We're so vastly under-equipped to deal with aliens.
Independence Day had it wrong.
Yeah, no, every movie where, what was it, like Battleship?
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, all of them have it.
Which War of the Worlds had a neat idea where they couldn't breathe our air. But motherfucker, they traveled through space and time to get here. I think they would wear a goddamn gas mask. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, for real though. I think that's probably pretty fair. But yeah, I think that's something that Independence Day, there's like Battlefield Los Angeles, something like that. Battlefield LA is like a movie where we managed to fight back against them. And it's the most ridiculous thing in the world because based upon the technology we have right now, our ability for space travel is so limited. Like, one of our best ideas has been, let's take like a really big rocket and put nukes at the bottom of it and use nuclear explosions as a way to speed us through space.
How do we prevent
from exploding? That seems like a really bad idea. Like, we just realized, well, it's not a good idea actually. But the
guy that made the theory, like, nah.
We're still using rocket fuel. Like we're using fossil fuels in a sense. They're synthetic, obviously, but we're using fuels to like power us like that, and it's just not possible. We don't have the kind of technology at the moment to get anywhere relevant. I mean, really, we're struggling to get to Mars, which is within our own solar system. So any kind of alien that's coming from outside of our own solar system is so vastly over-equipped compared to us that
we'd be outnumbered, we'd be outgunned and everything.
Immediately. I mean, there wouldn't be a fight. They just EMP the whole Earth and we'd be done.
Yeah,
that's
one
it.
EMP. Yeah, we have that technology. I mean, they could use our own shit. Like, we'll turn those on.
Yeah.
They have the internet.
Yeah, I think we're done. I think there's no contest at all.
I don't like the Fermi's paradox. It essentially says if there is an intelligent life form, it would have come here by now. But my argument is, why aren't we the most intelligent right now? Like, that's selfish to say, but who's to say we're not? Like,
well, I think
you have to have an ego when it comes to shit.
Not necessarily. I think what Fermi is trying to say is that the universe has been around for so long, and it took us, like we mentioned, like 40,000 years to get from crawling, very basic humans to now.
Yeah.
So not that long, really, in the span of the universe. It's
a grass on a fucking football field.
Exactly.
Our existence.
Not a very long time.
4.5 billion years.
And so Fermi's trying to say, well, imagine if a species was 100,000 years ahead of us. Where would we be in another 50,000 years? I imagine we're pretty far, provided we haven't killed ourselves. Like, okay, but that's not even that much. Imagine if there was 200,000 years ahead of us. Imagine if they were 1,000,000 years before us.
So he's putting in the time span a lot more than I'm thinking.
He's thinking it's not a stretch to say that, even 1,000 years ahead of us civilization, it's not hard for us to believe we're probably out in the stars somewhere by then. Give them another 1,000,000 years before us, and if they don't kill themselves or wipe themselves out, then they must be everywhere. And to think that the galaxy, or our given universe or our given galaxy is billions of years old. There is hundreds of millions of years there for life to produce somewhere. And it only has to be a few thousand years ahead of us to be vastly ahead of us. And so Fermi is trying to say that there's so much time, it seems like
the possibility of us being ahead is so limited.
Yeah, the idea that we're the first is absurd. Quite frankly, from a numbers game. It's possible.
So it's existing,
Yeah, exactly. Apparently. But he's trying to say, most scientists like to think that extraterrestrial life is probably pretty common in the universe.
But it's so vast?
But the fact is Fermi's trying to say, well, if it is so common, then where the hell are they? Because they've had millions and millions of years to develop, to spread all across the universe. So if they exist so prevalently like we think they should, because Earth it wasn't too bad for conditions to arise on Earth. We made it, so the odds must not be that bad, is what a lot of scientists think. And if that's the case, then where are they? And Fermi's trying to say, well, they're not here. So either A, it's much harder to create life than we thought it was, or B, we're the first.
I don't know. I like to think of it as if I were the creator. Like, what if peace on Earth or peace on a planet is a precursor to extraterrestrial exploration. Like, there's laws of the universe, gravity, the speed of light, all that shit. What if there's morality laws of the universe too? So these guys, literally, you can't leave your planet just by the laws of nature until you guys get along, because there's no way a chunk of you guys can figure out interstellar space travel. You guys all have to be on board. You guys all have to be cool, and that would be a pretty cool idea for why aliens would come here and not fuck us up, because they fully advanced to where they can leave their planet.
You were so hopeful.
Yeah.
That's the most optimistic thing I've ever heard in my life. I love it. Yeah, that's wonderful. I think I like the part about moral laws. That's, as a philosophy major in a biblical
I think philosophy would be fun as fuck.
It's really fun. It's but moral laws are something that I think a lot of people kind of abandoned. The idea that there are actual moral laws.
Well, if there's intelligence, I mean, it has to be there somewhere, Like if the creator's intelligent at all, I'd imagine he'd, or she, God bless, God willing, they'd create some kind of book or something that you have to follow.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, and that's why I think most people kind of abandon the idea of it, because there's a lot of scientists and they're saying, well, if moral laws exist, where are they? Can't see them, can't feel them.
Do you think if not only apes, but say the dinosaurs were never taken out and they just kept evolving, do you think they'd be as intelligent as we are? Or is that thumb that important? Do you think they would have fucking got it? Do you think whoever's number one gets all this cool shit, like thumbs, computers, do you think they would have been there?
I don't know. I think they would have had to have a reason to get there. That's what evolution would say. They would have to. Basically, the reason we are where we are right now is because we have big brains.
We made it to evolution by default, by the way.
Yeah, it's a check on that. Yeah. But we had to get big brains, and we had to get big brains because we didn't have big brawn. So the idea is, from a very simplistic idea of what evolution is that we have big brains because we needed them. It was absolutely necessary that we had to be intelligent. A really big T-Rex doesn't have to be all that smart in order to live, to survive. So smaller mammals were able to live and survive because they could outthink. They had big enough brains to see, for instance, snakes or something like that. They really developed frontal lobes for vision and things. They had really developed brains.
It's fucking fascinating, dude.
Where T-Rexes,
night vision, man.
Didn't absolutely need those kind of things. Dinosaurs didn't need huge brains because they were so large. We needed that in order to kind of make it far. And like I said, that's a super simplistic idea of evolution. I'm sure someone's going to tell me.
No, that's good. That's a good base, but I just think it's crazy, the route we took to evolving. Do you think we beat Neanderthals because our brain size, right?
I think we beat Neanderthals because there was more of us, and basically
we're outnumbered them.
Yeah, we outnumbered them, and we took their land from them, and we developed farming just a little bit before them. And I think there's some Neanderthal DNA in humanity. I think, if I'm sorry, maybe I have the internet right now.
I imagine.
Look it up, but
I'm
sure.
So you believe in evolution? Oh shit!
Yeah,
you better fucking walk lightly, motherfucker.
I'm on ice now. I've mentioned in the podcast now up until this point that I'm pretty clearly a Christian.
You're on board.
But I think it's pretty hard as a Christian to go ahead and say that there's no such thing as evolution. I think it's pretty difficult to say that.
It's ignorant, man.
Well, so what I can definitely see...
No offense.
No, so I'll play devil's advocate and just say that, what science can tell us is actually pretty limited. So in terms of what we can actually prove to be true, and I don't mean what is true versus what's a theory. I don't mean any of that kind of semantic stuff. I just mean what science can actually tell us about history is pretty limited. So we can prove in a lab, and Darwin was really good at realizing that there's such a thing as,
he's also fucking crazy.
A little bit. But he was really good at proving that species have microevolutions where they grow. For instance, what we've done to dogs, we breed them natural selection into certain traits. He's good at proving that. What he had yet to prove and what scientists have yet to be able to like definitively prove is that there is ever a change of kinds. So it's not the case that we have proved that it's possible for a dog to change into something that is not a dog, to evolve past dogship or whatever. I don't know.
Canine.
To devolve out of its kind. It can evolve within its species to get different traits and things.
We just haven't been able to monitor it.
Well, we don't have enough time, right?
Yeah.
And so that's scientists' problem, is that we haven't been around long enough in 200 years to see that kind of macro evolution. And
but we have it. We have ideas of it on our bodies. Our goosebumps, those used to be territorial. So if you got scared and an enemy's coming at you, your hair on your body is going to stand up to scare them away. Or we have like traces of us ourselves micro evolving. I think is that what you're getting at? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about a lot of it. I won't say that I have tons of knowledge. I'm getting a call right here.
You want to take it?
Yeah, probably should.
I gotta take a pee. Hey guys, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be right back with a commercial break.